Jimmy and Jey Uso clash backstage after WrestlePalooza loss at WWE Raw. The Usos are finished. What started as wrestling's most dominant tag team has exploded into the most vicious family feud in WWE history. Jimmy and Jey Uso's backstage confrontation after their devastating WrestlePalooza loss was so brutal and personal that security had to separate twin brothers who were literally trying to destroy each other. When you find out what Jimmy screamed at Jey about their partnership and their family legacy, you're going to be absolutely shocked at how deep this hatred has become between blood relatives who used to be inseparable. The backstage footage that WWE is trying to suppress shows Jimmy Uso in an uncontrolled rage, throwing equipment and screaming accusations at his twin brother that cut deeper than any wrestling storyline ever could. This wasn't just frustration over a match loss, this was years of buried resentment and jealousy finally exploding in the most destructive way possible, threatening to tear apart not just their tag team but their entire family structure. Security personnel who witnessed the confrontation describe it as the most intense backstage fight they've ever seen, with both brothers throwing punches and having to be physically restrained from seriously injuring each other. The sound of their shouting match could be heard 3 hallways away, and multiple WWE employees stopped what they were doing to stare in shock at wrestling's most beloved brothers trying to tear each other apart like mortal enemies. Here's what really triggered this nuclear explosion between Jimmy and Jey, and it's going to make you furious at how petty the cause was compared to the devastating consequences. During their WrestlePalooza match, Jey missed a crucial hot tag that cost them the victory, and Jimmy interpreted this as intentional sabotage designed to make him look bad in front of the WWE Universe. The accusation that his own twin brother would deliberately cost them a match revealed paranoia and mistrust that had been building for months. "You've been trying to make me look weak for years." Jimmy's voice echoed through the backstage area as he confronted Jey with accusations so personal and vicious that even hardened wrestling veterans were uncomfortable witnessing the family destruction. The raw emotion and genuine hatred in his voice made it clear that this wasn't just about one missed tag, this was about years of perceived slights and competition between brothers who should have been supporting each other. But Jimmy's attack on Jey's character was just the beginning of the most devastating family confrontation in wrestling history. He accused his brother of being jealous of his individual success, of secretly wanting to break up their tag team so he could pursue singles opportunities, and most shocking of all, of talking behind his back to Roman Reigns about potentially replacing Jimmy in the bloodline with someone more reliable and loyal. The psychological warfare between these twin brothers was absolutely brutal to witness. Jey's response to Jimmy's accusations was equally vicious, as he revealed that Jimmy had been secretly meeting with WWE officials about potential singles pushes without including his brother in the conversations. The revelation that both twins had been exploring individual opportunities while publicly maintaining their partnership exposed their entire relationship as a facade built on mutual deception. "You think I don't know about your meetings with Triple H?" Jey's counterattack hit Jimmy like a sledgehammer, revealing that he had been monitoring his brother's backstage activities and documenting evidence of potential betrayal. The fact that twin brothers were essentially spying on each other showed how completely their trust had broken down, transforming their partnership from family loyalty into suspicious surveillance. What makes this family destruction even more infuriating is how both brothers threw their shared history and childhood memories into the fight as weapons designed to inflict maximum emotional damage. Jimmy brought up times when Jey had received more attention from their father, while Jey countered with accusations about Jimmy's jealousy over his individual accomplishments and fan reactions during their matches. The confrontation escalated when Jimmy accused Jey of being the weak link in their tag team and suggested that their recent losses were entirely due to his brother's declining abilities and motivation. The personal nature of this attack went far beyond professional criticism into territory that could permanently damage their relationship as siblings, not just wrestling partners. But Jey's response was even more devastating and designed to destroy everything Jimmy valued about their partnership and family legacy. He told Jimmy that Roman Reigns had privately expressed doubts about Jimmy's loyalty to the bloodline and suggested that the family would be better off with just one USO representing their interests in WWE's tag team division. The revelation that Roman had been playing the twins against each other behind the scenes added another layer of family betrayal to an already toxic situation. Both brothers realized they had been manipulated by their cousin, but instead of uniting against Roman's divide and conquer tactics, they turned their anger toward each other with even greater intensity. Security footage shows the exact moment when verbal warfare became physical violence, with Jimmy throwing the first punch after Jey made a comment about his wife and children that crossed every possible line of family respect. The fight that followed was so vicious that multiple security personnel were required to separate them, and both brothers sustained visible injuries from trying to seriously hurt each other. The most shocking aspect of this backstage brawl was how both brothers seemed genuinely committed to causing permanent damage to their twin, fighting with a level of hatred typically reserved for mortal enemies rather than family members. Witnesses described seeing legitimate attempts to injure rather than just wrestling-style confrontation, suggesting that years of buried resentment had transformed into genuine murderous rage. WWE officials who responded to the fight were reportedly stunned by the level of personal venom being exchanged between the twins, with both men making threats about each other's families and personal lives that went far beyond typical wrestling disagreements. The depth of their mutual hatred revealed that their public displays of brotherhood had been covering massive underlying conflicts for months or even years. The aftermath of this confrontation has created absolute chaos in WWE's tag team division and forced management to completely restructure their programming around the Usos partnership. Storylines that had been planned for months have been scrapped, and the company is scrambling to figure out how to handle a situation where their most successful tag team has imploded due to real family hatred. Both Jimmy and Jey have reportedly demanded separate locker room facilities and have refused to appear in any segments together, making it impossible for WWE to continue their tag team storylines. The logistics of keeping twin brothers separated during television tapings has created massive headaches for production crews and creative teams who built entire shows around their partnership. The financial implications of the Usos' breakup are staggering for WWE's merchandising and marketing departments. Their twin connection and family bond were central to their marketability, and having them genuinely hate each other destroys the authenticity that made their characters compelling to fans. The company may lose millions in revenue from t-shirts, action figures, and other products tied to their brotherhood. Industry insiders are calling this family destruction one of the most shocking developments in tag team wrestling history, comparing it to legendary partnerships that imploded due to real personal conflicts rather than scripted storylines. The difference is that most tag team breakups are eventually revealed as entertainment, while Jimmy and Jey's hatred appears to be genuinely irreparable. The psychological impact on both brothers from this confrontation appears to be severe and lasting. Sources close to their family report that the twins haven't spoken to each other since the fight and are actively avoiding any situation where they might encounter their brother backstage or in public appearances. Other members of the bloodline have reportedly been forced to choose sides in this family war, with some supporting Jimmy's position while others defend Jey's version of events. The division within wrestling's most powerful family threatens to destroy the entire faction and remake WWE's main event landscape completely. The wrestling community's reaction to this family implosion has been mixed, with longtime fans expressing heartbreak over seeing their favorite brothers destroy each other while others are fascinated by the real emotion and genuine conflict that has replaced scripted entertainment. WWE's attempts to mediate between the twins have reportedly been unsuccessful, with both men refusing to participate in counseling sessions or reconciliation meetings. The stubbornness and pride that made them effective wrestlers is now preventing any resolution to their family conflict. The long-term consequences of this backstage fight may extend far beyond wrestling into their personal family relationships and their children's connections to each other. When siblings destroy their partnership this publicly and viciously, the damage often affects multiple generations of family dynamics. Both Jimmy and Jey's individual career prospects have been significantly damaged by this conflict, as WWE management is reportedly reluctant to push either brother as a singles competitor while their family drama continues to create backstage tension and production difficulties. The precedent set by this family destruction serves as a cautionary tale for other wrestling families about the dangers of mixing business partnerships with blood relationships, especially when success and money create additional pressures on already complex family dynamics. Quick question for the comments: do you think Jimmy and Jey can ever reconcile after saying such personal and hurtful things to each other? Let me know your thoughts below. And here's another one: which brother do you think was more in the wrong during this backstage confrontation, Jimmy for throwing the first punch, or Jey?